Hey everyone, Jonah here for discussion board number 2 for Introduction to Apologetics. And today we're going to be answering the prompt that says, in chapter 2 of the book that we're reading, the authors speak of the image of God in the individual person as an apologetic agent. What does this mean, and why is this important to the subject of apologetics? So, the image of God, what does this mean? Well, in the Bible, we first get the reference of the image of God in Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through 27, where it says this: Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. And I love the definition that the Lexham Survey of Theology gives, or the authors give, of the image of God. They state that the image of God is the special status that all human beings have as those made to reflect our Creator's character and commissioned to carry out his purposes in the world. Now, I think this is so good. This definition is so good because as deep of a concept that the image of God is, I think this hits two of the main points. We are, as image bearers, we're made to reflect God's character, and we are commissioned to carry out his purposes. So his character and his purposes. And I think taking this into the realm of apologetics and answering the second part of this prompt, why is this important to the subject of apologetics? Because I think that the image of God in the Christian worldview gives a sufficient, more than sufficient explanation to why we as human beings have certain capabilities that other organisms in this world do not possess, like morality. That's a big one. Like, we are moral beings. We live our lives each and every day, no matter what society you're in, no matter what ethnic group you're part of, no matter what part of the world you live in. Your moral code might be a little different than someone else's who lives in a different region, a different environment, but you're still going to abide by a moral code. And I think that we have to, at the end of the day, we have to ask the question or answer the question, why do we abide by moral laws? Why do we live by this seemingly objective moral standard, where we can look at a situation and say, this is good, this is not good, this is good, this is bad. And I think that a very, very sufficient answer for that is to look at the Christian worldview and say that the reason for that is because we all are image bearers. Paul says in Romans that all mankind, whether believer or non-believer, you have the law written on your heart. And those who don't have the written law, you have it written on your heart. So you're without excuse whenever you transgress God's law, right? So all of us have a conscience. All of us have moral, just intrinsic values that you can't say to a non-human organism also possesses. And then two, the image of God in the realm of apologetics. I love, well, first off, with this definition from the Lexham Survey of Theology, I need water. The second part of it is that we are commissioned to carry out God's purposes in this world. And I think this kind of coincides with what Chatraw and Allen say on page 46 of their book. They say that this exalted vision of humans as created in the image of God stands in contrast to the bleak vision of many contemporary worldviews that force people to conclude that there is no ultimate purpose to life or to invent their own arbitrary purposes. These contemporary worldviews clash with the intuitive sense we have that we are here for a purpose. In biblical thought, this intuition is the residual effect of being created in God's image. I think that the image of God in the Christian worldview, it gives an answer to why we as human beings feel this innate and intrinsic, this existential purpose to life. We're not just molecules, stitched together with no purpose in this world, but the image of God answers the question, this is why we feel like we have a purpose, among many other questions that it answers. But I hope this was sufficient for in answering this discussion board prompt. And everyone listening, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. God bless.